The four horsemen back tanks, opening pathing, moving on three, boss abilities, the threat cut by the marks, openers, recovering from taunt resist, issues with mocking and challenging shout, how to petri a mark, a clip of the first full 12 rounds, and talking about gear, the T3 percentages of success of a taunt, and the ZG reel. Let's start with pathing and movements. So after the opener, the Blaumeux tank takes it to the middle and then cuts over to the left. The Zeliek tank just pulls it straight over to the side, across the wall, and into the corner. And the two relief tanks head straight to the middle to avoid the marks. They can get a little damage on Mograine or Thane at the start, but let's ignore that. Now, the movements are every 3 marks. If you start at Zeliek, after the 3rd mark, you get replaced. So the tank comes in, hugs the wall, and replaces you. You head back across the wall, wait for 3 marks, and then head into Blaumeux. And similarly, Blaumeux, you start there, after 3, get replaced, and it's just Blaumeux, 3, middle, 3, Zeliek, 3, middle, 3, repeat. It's always marks 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 onwards. Until maybe the front 2 are dead, Thane, Mograine, and at that point maybe the front tanks come in and help because they've got Fury Prot, more gear, things like that. But for most of it, that's pathing and that's moves. Abilities and threat drops. Blaumeux does a melee and does a Circle of Death. Melee's not that much, doesn't hit that very much, but be stone shielded. And if you do, you can dual wield off the rip. The Circle of Death, don't stand in it. She'll cast it. You get a few seconds. Taunt her up and down the wall. And she'll cast it on a melee, so it doesn't even have to be on you. Just don't be in it. Be somewhere else. You can slowly move along the wall to tactically do it, but don't be in the circle. Zeliek, melee, and Holy Wrath. Melee, same thing. Hit you for 1,500. Do have some dodge, some parry, some defense. You can get hit a few times in a row. If you've only got 6,000 health, you shouldn't be there in the first place. Stone Shield still, because you should. Dual wield open up the rip, that's fine. The Holy Wrath is like the Cthulhu chain. As you can see here, it basically doubles every time. Hits for 500, 1,200, 2,400. If you get the 4th person, it'll hit for 5k. If you get the 5th, it'll hit for 10k. Everyone's dead. So make sure if there's more than 2 people there, or 3, whatever your limit is, tell them to get out. Now the marks, every time they go out, there is a threat drop. It basically cuts it in half. You can see down the bottom here, the tank's at 13,000, DPS is at 5,000, mark goes out, tank's at 6.5, DPS is at 2.5. It's not perfect, but basically it cuts in half. So while tanking them, just continually increase the threat climb, so that when the next tank comes in and taunts off you, they have a starting higher number to come off as well. So open on them hard, keep up the stone shield, yell at people if there's too many in on Zeliek, and dodge the circles. Alright, we're looking for a good opener. Ideally, all 4 tanks end up right there in the middle, so that each of them taunt and then head off in the 4 different directions. Obviously, watch the pull timer. Watch the other 2 tanks or 3 tanks. This is pretty much ideal opener. All 4 are at the same spot. All taunt. And they instantly split up. It's a very ideal opener, that. If it gets delayed or one's behind, someone might whirlwind, cleave, taunt resist, wipe. All things get spicy. But all together, all at the start, taunt off the rip. Okay, what happens if the boss resists your taunt? Ideally, you just hit it, wait, and use the second taunt, because that will match the highest threat that exists. If you're able to, stance into battle, mocking, bring it a few steps, back into defensive, and then taunt. So this example here, Mograine resists the opener, you chase it, there is a quick mocking blow for a global or two, and then back in defensive for a taunt, and you can see the cast sequence down the bottom. We'll see a resist, a parry, switch, mocking, global, defense, taunt, and away you go. You don't have to be so quick as the mocking to use that. You can just hit it a few times, build a little rage, and then taunt, and then go from there. And again, if you do get 2 taunts in a row, go get the ZG reel, get 4-piece T3. Alright, here's an example of why not to challenging shout. What you'll notice is the replacement tank comes in, maybe gets a resist, and then does a challenging shout, but then 6 seconds later, or 8, Mograine runs and chases me along. So we can see the threat at the moment is 10, 11k. We see Kel has taunted, however that is a challenging shout. You can see the cooldown going there. You can still see their threat is lower than mine. And right about now, having still the highest threat, Mograine chases. So that's probably 1 resist. You can see extra taunt resist fail there. So then someone else actually comes in and cleans it up. So yeah, don't bother challenging or mocking if you're not going to follow it up with a taunt itself, because that's the one that actually matches threat. Alright, always watch the replacement tank. So when the replacement comes in, they taunt, it's good, you can start heading off. Keep watching this as you run in, watch their health. If it drops, he'll go back to you because you're second, bring it back in. It's much better that, if needed, you die in the corner instead of the whole raid wiping. There's also a nifty trick with a Petri where if you watch the boss's health, watch the timing of the void and the mark, you can actually Petri, dodge a mark, and then unpetri, and then keep going. It's expensive, but it works. Alright, this is a full 12 rounds of the back tanks. Ideally, open up with the reel. Starting with Zeliek, head on over to the right. There's a good bit of distance there, so it's good to move. This isn't a perfect run, but still, it's an example. One thing you can do is also have drop greater blessing of salve and normal salve on a taunt macro. So if you ever have to hit it, it'll automatically drop that off. So we've got Zeliek in the corner. If you adjust around, you can push him into the corner, so healers have it easier to heal you. So at this point, you're just watching out for the marks. Try and always keep up demo shout. Always check for the sunders. Spam them both. Get a threat lead. There shouldn't be any damage on Zeliek at the moment, except for maybe a couple of dots, but still, same thing. Disarm when you can, shield block when you can, sunder when they're up to 5, demo on cooldown and when needed. So at this point, you've got 3 marks. You can scroll out or zoom out, see the next tank coming in, watch them. You can watch who Zeliek is targeting. When you see them change like that, you're good to move. because they should match threat, and if you don't hit the boss again, then he won't come back to you. As you're running away, you can still notice that they're still targeting the correct person. That's great. Come stand in the middle. We're on 4 marks. This is a video, watching a video without the audio. So this is why there's 2 mice, maybe even 3. My God, there's 3. Anyway, watch for 6. You can also click on the tank that's currently watching them and see how many marks they have. You can see the tank at the moment has 4, but that's fine, still come in at the right number. Pop reel, pop taunt. Because you got the debuff, you tend to automatically generate rage anyway, so after the taunt, straight into a thirst heroic. Move Blaumeux away from some of the circles. Keep an eye out for when they get cast on you or other melee. Keep up Sunder, Demo, Block, Stone Shield, the whole lot. And watch for the marks. Currently on 8, now on 9. So now we can see the replacement tank running in from the right side. Watch for the taunt, it's good. Move off. You can see they generate a bit more rage, a bit more threat. Head back to the middle. On 10 marks. Click on the next one you're going to go into. See the mark count of the tank that's currently there. Wait for the 12th to go out. That's 12. Head in and repeat. Gear will depend on what you've got available and many factors. However, simply, you're already in Nax, you are a warrior, and you probably have Lionheart Helm. Ignore hit cap for the moment. It's got no stam on it and no defense. So you probably want to first chuck on Dreadnought Helm for that. Now you do want 4-piece for this, and we'll go over that in a second. You probably have braces as well, because they tend to go cheap. So 2-piece. Now you still want to hit 4. So whatever T3 you have to get to 4 pieces, put them on. I'd recommend shoulders because they have the extra stam, and you can chuck on the stam enchant as well. They're definitely just tanking. And 4-piece, I tend to go for the ring. So you end up with the improves chance to hit with taunt and challenging by 5%. So go for that, whatever 4-piece you can. Legs are also quite good because they've got a 32 block value, and you add ZG enchant for 15 block value, and you're blocking for 47 plus each time. That adds up over a fight. Now, not many back tanks will have it, but it is really good to get into the Nat Pagel's Broken Reel from ZG because you can use it on cooldown. And I'll chuck a couple of numbers up above. Basically, if you walk in with the 4-piece and you hit the ZG trinket, you have a 99% success of taunting the boss. Apparently, there's always a 1% chance, even if you push it over, the boss has always got a 1% chance to resist. But you only got to do it a few times in a fight, and the odds are very, very, very low that you'll get a resist. Outside of the actual taunt success, wear some plate. So chuck on whatever plate you've got in the remaining slots. Have some stam buff, have some Gordok grog, have some bloody elixir of fort. Just the rest of the gear is how you want to set it up. But don't be walking in there with leather and Lionheart Helm, no T3 and no reel, and getting surprised when you get 3 taunt resists in a row on the raid wipes. Just a couple of pieces of T3, 4, and the reel, you'll have a 99% success. That is a good time.